Alhamdulillah, welcome back. Sorry for the intermission, but let's carry on with our discussion on causes of conflict in marriage, problems arise. And you were speaking about a few issues, Maulana. What is the main sort of issues, arguments arise from?
Some of the common ones being described is refusal to listen, giving each other silent treatments, criticism, attacking their personality directly, having and doing that publicly or even privately, where, you know, when you have the romance period, for the first 6 months, 1 year, everything's really cool, and you're constantly only finding the goodness of each other. But then once you come down to the earth from cloud 7, you realize this person also has this ill trait, he also has this bad trait. So now you're constantly picking on them, constantly at them, which can become frustrating over time. Then you think this person's changed, you know, mocking each other, humiliating and disrespecting each other. These are major reasons.
Why does it happen like that in some marriages? What takes it in that direction?
There's obviously been miscommunications, and there's been mistrusts on the way. And I find that is what's led to now becoming so open that you're now directly attacking each other's character. And let's suppose and one thing I've seen, and inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun, where you're comparing your marriage to somebody else's marriage.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Yeah, so when you compare to them, like, they're so lovey-dovey and so cute as a couple. Why are we not like that anymore? So when you're comparing yourself, now you're going to be picking on them. Well, you know, she dresses like that, or he does this, he does that. Why do we not do such a thing? But then there's obviously reasons you're not doing that.
Do you think that one of the spouses or both of them, do they hold back on their true feelings, and instead of talking about it, they just kind of lash out about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even if you are going into an argument, it should be done with honor and respect. It shouldn't be where you violate each other's personalities, is it? Or you have personal attacks and digs at each other. You know, like the Prophet ﷺ said, one of the signs of a munafiq is when he argues, he begins to shout.
Yeah.
That he begins to, or in another translation, you could say criticize. Yeah, where you become personal when an argument happens. So one of the discussions we will have, inshallah, is, you know, managing conflicts and stuff. But you'll find that because there's lack of tarbiyah, you've never had these discussions before. So now when that has arisen in your life, the only outlet is frustration.
I think one of the things we need to realize, I think you do realize, inshallah, is there's no perfect marriage or perfect spouse for us, right? Of course, for Anbiya, for them and whatever, right? But really, this life is a challenge, isn't it? Your spouse, the relationship, over time there's going to be challenges. There's going to be a barrier, a conflict, a disagreement. So we really need to be like mature and ready to face them and not become childish when it comes to these things.
Yeah, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ. One of the khawf phase young men have, is that I can't afford for this relationship to go down. So, you know, that constant struggle to keep it on a high. That's another reason. So now you've set the bar so high that every day you're going out, every day you're ordering food, every day something exciting has to happen. Because when they look at the Western influence, when you look at influencers on social media, like they look happy every day. They've gone out every day. They may have like a stack of pictures from like one holiday or one event, but they're sharing it again and again every other day. So every other user thinks, you're like, these guys are absolutely chilling.
Yeah.
Why are we not chilling like that? Why are we not happy like them? Why do we not have, again, you know, that comparison element? Why is my marriage not like that?
And social media just adds flames, or, you know, fire to the flames, and, you know, makes it worse and worse.
And you feel inferior. You feel like, you know, there's something missing in your marriage. There's nothing missing. You don't know the conflicts, disputes, and the difficulties they're having in their marriages.
That actually reminds me of a hadith, actually, that the Prophet said to the husband in particular, if you dislike a trait in your spouse, then overlook that, because there's many other good traits, right? So like I said, nobody's perfect. You've got, you know, I've got my shortcomings. I can do this, I can do that. And I know my spouse is, you know, patient with me. Same, you know, nobody's perfect. So as long as we learn that, okay, this isn't perfect in my spouse, and find ways to improve it, or, you know, be wise in how you approach it.
Appreciate all the good she does. Like that, again, similar story from the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. Ya Nabi, like, I don't find anything good about her. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, not even one? Said, yeah, there is. But make that the reason for you to build on this relationship and get back together. But you have to have that willingness to find that good trait in her.
Yeah.
Just the way you did in the first 5 months or a year of the marriage. Now, 15 years later, why is it that person has become your enemy? She's not, or he's not your enemy. They are on your side.
Yeah.
But you need to remove that cloud so you can see clearly that we're still one. We're still one unit.
You know, that brings me to another sort of direction, an issue which is really important to discuss. But like I said at the beginning, which you might have missed because we had an intermission, do like and share the podcast, but comment, throw your questions on the comment section. Talk to us, tell us what challenges you've seen. Don't talk about yourselves. Nobody wants to talk about themselves, obviously. But, ask the questions about what you need help for, your community, your family members, and so on. And that's why I want to actually bring it to a little bit, is that you said this idea of, you're together, you're a team, you should work together, not see it as a conflict. But often we are put against each other, aren't we? Family, people around us, he's not looking after you, she's not doing this for you, it doesn't seem like they care, or he cares, or she cares. And these kind of negative statements do happen.
They do, and a lot of the time it's also peer pressure.
Yeah.
So comparing your marriage to another marriage, like your other sibling is so well and doing well, why isn't your relationship like this? Or if they're having kids, why are you not having kids? If they're financially doing well, why are you not doing well? If they go out and do things, why are you not doing that? They're completely different characters. No one marriage is meant to be identical to another marriage. No one scenario relationship is the same as another relationship. They have their ways of expressing themselves. They have their ways of enjoying their company with each other. Nobody should be comparing them that my relationship has to be just like that one. So if you remove that peer pressure, you realize, Sheikh, very quickly that between the couples, they don't actually have many conflicts. But when the peer pressure comes in, or where the mother-in-law comes in, the father-in-law comes in, no, you do it this way, you do it that way, this is the only way that this should be done, I think that's very wrong. And something we touched upon in one of the earlier podcasts is that when you are seeking advice, you should seek advice for somebody who's independent, who's non-biased. Remember, your mother, you love her and she loves you to bits. Your father loves you to bits. But that doesn't make him a counselor. Your mother loves you more than anyone, but that doesn't make her perfect in counseling or advising her own son or daughter, because her advice is based on her experiences. This is now relationship is very, very different. Look at the difference in like the generations.
Yeah.
My parents are from a complete different generation.
Different background, upbringing,
tradition,
culture.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
Now comparing that to kids who are grown up here, who have been to college and university, and they see how pali and how good counseling can be and how things can be done in such a more positive manner, in a professional manner. Now they see parents doing these things in the desi way. And forgive my language, like they're going to say, these are tips. They don't have nothing to do with it. They don't know, I can't relate to them. So find your support from people that you know can relate to you. So that could be an uncle that speaks the language, an uncle that understands values, British values that you have risen up in. Your parents have back home values. You have British values. There is going to be that conflict.
So this brings us on to the discussion, which is in the Quran, isn't it? That when husband and wife have conflict, it mentions
definitely,
there should be a hakaman
min ahlihi
wa hakaman
min
ahliha. Could you explain that for our viewers? It's really important.
So hakam is like having that arbitration. A non-biased individual who will step in to arbitrate between the two sides to find the common grounds.
And they should have one each, it says in the Quran.
One each. Hakama min ahlihi, one from that side. وحكم من أهلها. But the condition is إن يريد إصلاحها.
يوفق الله بينهما.
Only if you intend for matters to be solved.
And
if you don't intend it, some only do it to sugarcoat. Imam Sahib, I've tried everything. I've been to this counselor. I went to the uncle Ji, the auntie Ji, but it didn't work. But did you really intend Islah? I'll give you a beautiful example. Just yesterday, Sheikh, had a couple come over. When I spoke to them over the phone, they were like, Imam Sahib, it's going to have to be divorce. Like, take it, come in, let's have a discussion. So I'm the non-biased guy, just single, tried, even though the Quran says one on each side. But alhamdulillah, we played the part that they walked out of MCM, giving each other another chance, willing to forgive, make amends on the day, and they agreed to go on Umrah together with the family. But you have to have somebody who is a hakam, who actually knows how to counsel. This is where I think I should also mention for our young ulama and shuyukh out there that take on professional counseling
Yes.
as a course, as a diploma. There's level 3, level 4, level 5 diplomas, which will only enhance your skills in enabling yourself to actually do a better job in counseling
On
people.
that point, I think it's really important that we, as imams, as community members, elders, whoever it is, we really look at that training, because we need it more and more in our community. Sadly,
More than ever, of
we
course.
need it, and that's life. We needed maybe doctors in the past, or we needed, like, I don't know, engineers. We need obviously psychologists, mental health workers.
Yep.
We need people with counselling skills and so on. I remember one of my students from Sheffield. He mentioned he's into counselling, psychology, etc. And he says it's all about listening.
Yeah.
It's all about listening. And Allah subhanAllah, that's what the deen teaches us.
Subhanallah.
Listen before you act. Listen as in register. Don't just listen as in I've heard sounds in my ear. What does it mean to you? I don't know. I just heard something. Right? No, listen as in pay attention to what you're hearing, so that you can be in the best position possible to advise, to direct, to react, to respond, and so on. I think that's a huge
Many
part
times
of it.
because they're so fogged up in their relationship, they can't see any way out.
That's why you need that second pair of
Exactly.
eyes, ears,
You just need to
mind.
be that shoulder
Yeah.
for someone to lean on and just cry for a moment, feel better, let loose, and once they open up to you, then you can see exactly what's happening in that
So
relationship,
just to
and
go
you
into
can
that
advise
ayah a
them.
little bit more. You mentioned, one person from each side, but who should be that person? What are the traits, or what should we look for when we want somebody
I think
to
that
represent
person
us?
could be a wise elderly. But it has to be somebody wise, somebody elderly. Normally what would happen is you'll pick the uncle or the auntie who you get along with most. But that uncle or auntie is only going to be more deceptive, and she's going to be more, she will egg you on to do more. Beta, no. We're going to stand our grounds. This is what we want to walk out with out of that meeting.
What about grandparents? Possible?
Grandparents could be very good because they've had 70, 60
lifelong
years of experiences.
Yeah.
It could be an imam.
Yeah.
Us bringing in an imam to be the hakam in between that can actually identify these are the problems in the marriage. These are the solutions that we need to move towards.
And
it could be marriage counselors, professional therapy. I think, especially guys, should not shy away from actually going to a counselor for counseling. I know just this morning I was reading as part of my prep, Elon Musk,
yeah, unfortunately.
richest person on the earth, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Even few months into his relationship, he's seeking out counseling. And it didn't work in his first relationship. But the point being, he did not shy away that me being on top of the earth in terms of financially above everyone, but he seeks out counseling.
And that's a big message
Our
for our
men,
brothers.
especially Muslims.
Big message.
Muslim, because ar-rijalu qawwamun.
What they think is like it reduces their value in some way.
No,
It's
no,
belittling
no.
to them. You need counseling. Like people think counseling is some kind of
Degrading.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
You have to be somebody. You're less of a person because you need counseling.
Yeah.
It's suggested to you, and the brothers therefore don't commit to it or engage with it. But counseling is like any training session. Don't you go to the gym to train to get better at physically,
Exactly.
football
Exactly.
training, whatever. You go to do your security training or something, I don't know. You need to train how to communicate, how to listen to somebody.
Look, you
how
get
to-
flashed on the road.
Yeah, exactly.
They do not send you on a speeding course.
Speed about it.
Is that not counseling?
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. They tell you to think ahead, plan ahead.
Exactly, that's
do
what it
this, judge your distances, whatever they do.
But when it comes to
you
the
can tell
wife-
I've been on one, right?
I know. Funny enough, me and Firaz happened to be on one on the same day.
You and one of our tech guys,
Yep.
Fraz, you ended up turning up
It
on the
was
same day.
absolutely jokes. So when I saw Firaz, like, huh? You? So I messaged him privately. What are you doing here?
MashaAllah.
Allah,
That's
I
amazing.
can never forget
You
that
had a
day,
good
man.
day, yeah.
We had a good
It
day.
turned out to be better than you expected.
A lot better. A
Alhamdulillah.
lot better.
So one of the things I want to talk about in this same discussion is that when we consult others and
Ji,
we're trying to
ji.
get the best advice and so on, where is it that we should ourselves be? The two people, they're listening in, people listening in. What should we be thinking, wanting? How should we deal with this issue? Because like you said earlier, some people come and they're like, it's all over, just end it. And I want to figure out how to end it. We'll talk about how to end it, inshallah. But you said, no, there should be a desire to rectify,
To solve.
solve.
There has to be.
Yeah.
Because Quran is saying, in yurida islaha. If the two,
What does yurida islaha mean?
if they both intend
Yeah.
and they all genuinely are coming into this counseling session wanting islaha.
Yeah.
Both are wanting sulh.
which is
Both is unity, isn't it?
unity, reconciliation,
Reconciliation.
getting back
Both
together,
of them wanting that.
putting behind all the negative.
If both are not willing to do that, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
So back to my scenario yesterday. So they walked in wanting divorce. But Alhamdulillah, I set the ground first. This is what we want to achieve. I asked them, what do you want to achieve? Both of them. So Alhamdulillah, they walked out now wanting to give each other a chance. This has happened so many times. On the contrary, I've had cases where there's no reconciliation at all. It's just not going to work. And I know the more I try to push this, the more they will actually become further away from each other. Because they're using that as an opportunity to have a go at each other. Things that they've not said, they're now going to say.
Yeah.
Things that they've held back on, they're openly they're gonna express it to each other.
That's important, is it, that we provide that safe space,
Yeah.
that room to have that communication? Because often, and it's somewhat generally the case, that the lady doesn't say as much, fearful of disrespecting the husband, or just generally. Sometimes you might say, no, it's the opposite. The ladies say too much.
I've had both. I've had both.
But that's, maybe a cultural thing I'm coming from. But I think that it's really important, like you said, that communication happens. Because it's all about communication. And the job of these arbitrators, the job of the facilitators,
These counselors
is to
is
make
to-
sure people are communicating genuinely, honestly. And for the listener, this is the part that I think the brothers need to listen to more, but sisters as well, is that we take on board what's being said to us. If there's a criticism, if there's a negative, don't take it as a personal attack. The person wants you to change for the betterment of this marriage. Otherwise, they want to bring this discussion up. They will stay silent. and
They would
then
never have turned up.
They'll turn, yeah, exactly. They'll end it. The fact that they're willing to speak now is for the betterment of this marriage. So we need to take seriously that conversation that happens between two people, with all these people helping. Inshallah.
And if these people are helping, is because they genuinely want to help.
Exactly. We've got a comment or a question, on the video comments. It says, when does a disagreement become harmful, and what are the signs that a couple needs outside help? Yeah, when do we reach out? When does it become
When it becomes very personal, when there's abusive language being used, when there's character assassinations taking place, when it could become violent.
Yeah, when the other party is not listening, not responding,
or when
yielding.
So yesterday's scenario, I keep referring to it because it's so fresh in my mind, is when so many promises has been broken.
Promises are broken. Yeah.
So between husband and wife, as a guy, you could probably easily convince your wife, like, that's it, I'm never going to do this thing again. But a week down the line, you do it again. But because you're a guy, you can do it. Vice versa. She could do the same as well, thinking, you know what, I have the freedom to do whatever we want. Forget him. I'm just going to still do that. But there comes a point where either party thinking, you've made so many promises that you don't hold my promise in any value. Now we need to step outside and go to a counselor for marriage counseling. Whatever you say to him, or whatever he makes you put on paper to note down, you will value that and you will honor those commitments.
So this brings us on to another, from the question and from what you've said, issue, which is, when it comes to abuse, when it comes to harm, psychological abuse, torment, like people really cracking down on one another, or one party to another, usually the male to the female, unfortunately. So is this something that we should tolerate? I think there's a misunderstanding here that Islam says you just put up with it.
No.
How do we deal
I think for me personally as well, and from an Islamic point of view, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never taught to hit, to beat, anything like that. In fact, the Sharia describes, even if you have a disagreement, you ought to use a miswak, and even that miswak is not to leave a mark.
Yeah, it's like a reprimand in the sense of you're doing something wrong.
But for an honorable woman, the moment he is no longer willing to sleep in your room or separating his bedding from you, for an honorable woman, that is enough of a warning that he's upset. Now now is the time to reconciliate. We need to rethink things. But for me personally, let's start on the other end of the spectrum. Other way around.
Unfortunately, the women may get physically abused, right? It happens, unfortunately.
If there is any source or form of domestic abuse, for me personally, and I've worked with so many cases at MCM, my advice straight away is walk away. If he's going to do it once, believe me, he's going to do it a second time, and a third time, and a fourth time.
It's been like that.
It has been like that. So I'll tell you a case. A sister came from Italy. Without going into much detail, came here, found somebody online, They did connect really well. 6 months down into the marriage, he now becomes abusive. The abuse turns into physical abuse. So when she contacted me, that was the very first time the physical abuse happened, domestic abuse. I told her, look, sister, pack your bags, go back to your mum. So she didn't. She stayed. 4 months later, contacted me again. Imam Sahib, I'm still stuck in the situation. He's physically abusing me and he beats me.
La hawla wa la quwwata illa
I said, sister, did I not tell you to pack your bags? So what she did was, I said, look, ring the police. You need
support.
You need support.
You need
to
intervention.
defend yourself.
Intervention.
Next time he does something like that, he could harm you so badly, you could lose your life.
That's exactly what happened.
And before you've even had any kids, now's the time you walk away. God forbid you have a child, or if a child is on the way, and now he's going to be without a father, if you then later on decide that it's too late and I'm walking away. So we called the mother. Mother flew in from Italy. And only then she was convinced, I can no longer continue with this marriage.
Yeah.
But she put up with it for so long.
It's hard for ladies or for anybody with the emotional
For a lady
attachment
particularly, not she's
that-
migrated.
That development. Of
She's
this
made that
relationship.
hijrah. She's so many sacrifices. Yeah.
To give it all up is hard, isn't it?
Very hard.
Yeah.
And because they are emotional characters, it's difficult for them to let go with somebody so quickly.
Yeah.
But when it's physical abuse, that's the red line.
And that's the deep.
That's the red
It
tape.
does not accept any form of physical harm.
Any form of abuse. Exactly.
Anything that goes in that way is signs of more to come and danger. I mean, people can change, but then intervention is needed. And people,
So the stage below that is emotional abuse.
yeah.
So emotional abuse is something depending on what you can tolerate. But if it's having a toll on your psychology, on your psyche, on the way you behave, on the way you do your chores, or let's suppose it's so overwhelming that even your prayers are, you are left confused. You're not able to have that khushu in your prayer anymore. It's impacting you so badly. Then my advice at that point typically is that you need to give each other space. So the space means she goes to her mother's, or you stay in the family home, or you go out, even if it's a day or two. If it's that bad, then give each other space. By giving each other space, you actually start to appreciate that the absence of that person, in its absence, how much I depend on that person, how much she actually does for me, how much I'm actually doing for her or him. It'll give you that opportunity to almost click the reset button.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. And then when you do come back, that islah takes place, that sulh takes place, where you become a unit, you make promises. You are going to have highs and lows. Nobody ever told you that marriage means you're always going to be flying high. You are going to have highs and lows, but you need to be able to manage those discussions and those situations.
Yeah, so just wanted to reiterate a really important point. We talked about the abuse physically, but Islamically, we are required to uphold respect for a person's psyche, for a person's intellect, not
Exactly.
belittle them, not mock them, not damage their thoughts and so on. That's actually one of the preserved rights a human being has, even for non-Muslims. We don't talk in this way or treat people in that way as Muslims. So let alone doing that to somebody, you cannot do that to your spouse. That's somebody you should totally be the opposite way. You should be developing each other and respecting each other's intellects and engaging in that way. So it's really important that we highlight this, because I do feel, and like you mentioned, there's a lot of this, when the things get a bit difficult or challenging or arguments, there's that belittling, that who are you, this, he's like this, she's this, he's that. They just like...
Then they bring their past. They bring the past in, and then it gets really ugly, and it's not nice.
Exactly, yeah.
It's
and it
not
all
nice.
comes from just looking at that person as lesser, as not to be respected, and you lose loss of respect, which is really key in the relationship.
And you must go into the relation thinking that you both are one.
Yeah, exactly.
If one is always going to consider himself better and superior in whatever way he thinks he is, then that relationship is going to have some friction. But there are many other major causes people are now finding today. One of the causes for breakdowns of marriages is actually social media.
Yeah.
Something that we use so commonly, that is also becoming one of the reasons for divorces taking place. Loss of intimacy. We talked about that last week as well in some detail. But when there is a loss of intimacy, that is actually a known reason for divorces to take place.
So on that one, I think it's important to touch on it. How do, a couple get literally advice on how to have better intimacy, sexual relations, and so on? Because it's seen as a bit of a taboo to open that topic and talk about it. So, what would be the healthy way and good way to have that conversation? Because people are having it, but people don't want to listen to it either. They don't feel comfortable, or
Look, if you're not feeling comfortable discussing it, then have a counselor involved. He will facilitate that discussion. Let's say a sister is not able to open up on whatever physically she's experiencing, going through. Let's say she's not satisfied or he's not satisfied. Having that third person to speak to both is the only way forward. Otherwise, between them, it's always going to be, you're not meeting my demand. My demand is not being met. So now he wants a way out, or he's going to do something haram that he should not be doing. And unfortunately, young men are out there doing that. Especially when we talked about that emotional breakdown, because they become so busy in their lives that they don't really see their partner as an intimate partner anymore. Now, where do they want the satisfaction? Somebody at work, somebody who works in the same office. A case, just recent one, similar case, that my husband no longer inclines towards me. And she said, I've got proven evidence that he's now sleeping with another woman.
What do you think?
This is happening.
I know there's books you can read. So
Yeah.
people can read books on how to have an orgasm and give an orgasm and all of that. But what do you think, and it's happening out there, by the way, to be careful what I say here, demonstrations using models and not live demonstrations, of course, but like using a model of a female organ and doing this and doing that. It might help the brothers to understand how to.
If it can help you save your marriage by going to a counseling session like that, then I see no harm in it. If anything, you're saving many generations. And if you've had kids as well, then it's the kids' lives that you are saving from jeopardizing as well. So you should not shy away from that, basically. But you should have routines. I think, and then expectations are met through those routines that you follow. Something I talked about last week as well. And uphold and value and honor those routines you have, so that at least there's consistency in the marriage.
Yeah, I'm all for it as well. I think that as long as it's done in a controlled and positive environment, we should be learning about these things because they're part of life and we shouldn't shy away from them. Just a few comments I want to share. It says, personalities clash so much and too much has been said for too many years. I'm living with a hypocrite. This is a comment by somebody. May Allah protect your marriage and give you tawfiq and strength.
Again, for them, if they reset their marriage,
I
press the reset button.
It's hard because it's been going for many years, but
even then, she or he was the love of your life. You did have many celebrations.
They were bad, they were good, they can be good again.
Exactly.
So it says, Jazakallah khairan for this amazing podcast, so much your topic. And this is a really good one. It says, why do some marriages survive significant difficulties while others end in divorce? And what guidance does Islam give for strengthening a marriage during difficult seasons? That is, even guidance have added a comment onto that saying, great question, we'll touch on this. I think that is a brilliant question and something we did reflect on. Why is there some marriages with lots of difficulties, issues, problems, conflicts, they survive and people, at the end they're strong?
I think and
others break down and
it comes down to tarbiyah, comes down to tolerance.
What do you mean tarbiyah? Just explain that.
So tarbiyah, so if you spend enough time with your elders, with your parents, and you've seen that they did not break up in their highs and lows and how they've managed conflicts in their marriage, then you will have that courage and that experience knowing how to manage those relationships. What I find, and something I'm going to generalize, forgive me for this one.
Okay.
But there's statistic proof behind what I say. One of the biggest reasons for decline in character is single parenting. So when, and again, I'm going to generalize.
Declining character as in of the children?
Of the children.
Yeah.
Because they've not had that fatherly figure.
Mostly the lack of.
I know so many cases. I know so many brothers that are behind bars. They're in prison because the daughter-in-law came from abroad. She could even be a direct first cousin as well. But the moment she landed, rang the police, there's domestic abuse. How like there was nothing. All she wanted was a UK visa. You know a couple of cases. I'm sure every viewer will know someone like that. But what does that result in? Single parenting. What did she want? Freedom. What's freedom for her? I need my own house. I need my own money. I don't need a guy in my life to dictate what I do, what I don't do. I'll do what I want. Fast forward 15 years. Now when that young child that was 1-2 years old is now 15, he's no longer coming home. How can the mother force him to come home? He's a grown lad now. He goes gym. So the mother can no longer reprimand him or hold him at home. So when he's getting his tarbiyah from outside, he's never had the fatherly figure. Fast forward another 10 years, he gets married. All his life, he's lived the life, that gangster life. Now he's got a woman who's demanding things. But he's had no experience of seeing how mother and father, they manage conflict.
He's not had duty, he's not had responsibility.
Nothing happens.
Yeah.
So now as soon as they step out into the real life, they have no tarbiyah. No idea how to manage situations. And like I said, I'm generalizing. There are, of course, some very good women out there who have done impeccable job at raising children
By
good
themselves.
by themselves. They have. But these are very rare.
Yeah.
But the overwhelming majority, it is what we are seeing on these
On that
streets.
question about why they survive, I think, like you said,
The tolerance and tarbiyah.
learning from the elders, but I think we're spending less time with our elders. I think
Exactly,
there's a bigger generational gap now. Like our parents, even grandparents, and the time they spent with their elder generation was a lot more, and they respected them a lot more. They took from them a lot
We
more.
enjoyed spending time
And
with them.
I think we've, like you said, want freedom almost, and we think being away from, I think as you grow up, you want to be away from the older generation, just don't see as cool anymore. But you have to spend time with them to learn.
So once upon a time,
wisdom is with the elders, right?
Once upon a
Wisdom is
time,
with
they used to be
experience.
cool as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So now that you've moved on, you have to find that time to spend with them. If you're too busy on your phone, you are sat with your grandparents, but you're not spiritually or emotionally connecting with them. You're connected
And
elsewhere.
technology has made that.
It has made it very, very, very difficult. You go on an Eid day, all the kids are on their phones.
Yeah.
And the parents are, mashallah, mashallah, this is my family.
Yeah.
But is that really something to say mashallah
They're
to?
not playing. Well, many families do play together, do activities together, but not the majority.
Not the
Just
majority.
The few do that.
And until
Unfortunately,
you don't sit with
it's
your
just
parents.
a kind of it's not a physical distance. It's a
Emotional distance, isn't it?
emotional,
Yeah.
connected. Like human distance almost. Like you're not humanly there. Like we said, quality time. Grandparents with grandkids. Father with son.
They have the
mother with
experience,
daughter.
they've got the entire life that they've seen, highs and lows.
We need to spend more time together.
Spend time with them. Ask them what they know, what they've
And I
seen.
think that's what relates to that question. Like,
Yeah.
why do marriages survive? Because
Some
people
survive,
spend
some
time
don't.
with their elders. They learn, like you said, to be resilient, and we don't spend as much time with elders. So we only have, like you said, the tarbiyah. We only have our own environment, colleagues, friends, influences to go off, and they're very weak, or they're very, change it, move on, do this, do that, and things break down a lot easier when you don't have resilience. You don't learn resilience. People have to ask that question to me when I talk about sabr. They say, you said we need to have sabr, but how do we have sabr? Right? It's like,
And to what extent?
yeah, and I said,
What's the breaking point, Sheikh? That's the question they will ask.
Yeah.
When is it that you said that enough is enough? Okay, I did sabr a year, 2 years, 3 years. But Sheikh, enough is enough. How do you respond to that?
It could be, there's no like right or wrong. You got to assess what is best for the situation. It's subjective. Like even with all the facts and all the data you could get, there's still two human beings and their emotional state, their psychological state, which you can never truly get to the bottom of. Only Allah knows what's going on truly. So we have to try our best as facilitators, as influencers, as guides. At the same time, if you're in the conflict, you got to try your best to see what is going to work or not. And like I think you said earlier, there's a limit. There's a limit where if it gets abusive, if it gets to harm, if it gets to a level of haram as well. Like if there's abuse of your family going on, and foul language is being constantly used, which today has become a norm almost, which is shocking, right? But it's the culture. So these kind of things, which when it gets to violence, when it gets to abuse, when it gets to wrongs, I think you can't just hold on and hope it's going to change. It is time to move on, and that's when we have to go to the.
And some of the triggers you will find is anger problems.
Anger's a huge one. We
Statistically
haven't touched on
proven
that. We haven't touched
anger
on that.
problems.
Anger's a huge
You will
one.
also find from some of the reading I was doing is unrealistic expectations in a marriage.
Yeah, that comes with
Which
social media a
are-
lot more now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on from some shows a degree above that, statistically proven pornography
Yeah.
and expectations of your spouse to do and
Because
perform
what that
things
also does is
in ways
it
that
doesn't allow you to be satisfied
ever.
the way you want, because
Yeah.
you've got a huge different abnormal standard of wherever that is, right? And you might even look at that and then not want to say the same to your spouse and say do that, but how are you going to fulfill that desire now? So I think it screws with your mind.
All of this
sorry to use
playing-
that word, but messes up your mind a lot psychologically. I've read about this. My friend, he's a youth worker.
Okay.
He's got workshops. Sent me one of his PowerPoint, like huge presentation on pornography, and he mentioned certain books and authors and how to overcome it. One thing he did say, I'll tell you this, and it's proven by the way, is those who take a religious foundation to overcoming addiction to pornography and getting away from it are more successful than the ones who do it outside of a religious context. Right? So that's something important. What does it mean by religious? It means you do it with prayers. It means you do it with, prayers as in you ask Allah and you pray the 5 daily prayers. It means you do it with fasting. It means you do it by being around brotherhood or sisterhood and so on. So you take support of your
having the right company, so that even when you are privately on your own, that brotherhood or the sisterhood has an impact on you. That even when you're on your own, you will honor that relationship that you have with them. That I can't go down this route again. I can't be watching that content again. I can't be doing this. We talked about in the previous podcast how relationships pre-marriage have a direct impact on your marriage.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting that spouse to do and perform things that you've done haram outside of marriage. You're expecting all of them from this marriage. Likewise, the content you're viewing, you expect your wife to also be trained and have all of the specialization to do whatever you're seeing in the fantasies you hold. It's not going to work. It's raising the expectation to something which is unfair to want from your spouse. And that's when the spouse will then come to you and say, look, I'm out. And again, I've got cases on that as well, where people have come to me, Imam Sahib, this is what he's asking and demanding of. It's just not possible because he's been to brothels and other places.
So we've got some more comments in.
This is a big problem.
I think we'll go through them, and thank you for your comments. Jazakallah khairan. Please do comment, ask questions, bring up some points. We'll try to discuss them, inshallah. So Usman says, pressures of everyday life can put so much strain on marriages. How can couples come out of what's referred to as the roommate phase of marriage? When you're having the chill and happiness and honeymoon period and so on. How do we get to like maturity, seriousness, right? Because we do need that. That's going to help us have a strong marriage, future, children, family, etc. You can't just be roommates as it's suggesting there all your life. That's not what it is. So how do we kind of go forward in marriage, which protects us from the breakdown of marriage?
So there must be goals in your marriage. That there must be between spouses a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan. Where do we see ourselves in 5 years? Like financially, in terms of family as well, housing, investments, in all these things. Have some common goals that both of you want to achieve in 5 years. Then you will move away from the bedroom partner concept and to become more realistic. Look, guy, we got to do this. By, let's say, in the next 3 years, we have to save up and go perform Hajj. Within 2 years, we're going to have to buy a house. We're going to have a child or 2 children or whatever. Have a 10-year plan. At least something you are looking forward towards, what I want to achieve. If you're going to stay here, if you're going to migrate to another country, because you're paying so high taxes in the country, you're probably wanting to move out. But have those discussions.
Yeah, important. So there's a few more comments. I want to get onto these. Really important. Do continue, guys. What advice would you give to Muslims struggling to find a spouse? I think we covered that.
We covered that last week and the week before.
So just check back to a podcast 2 weeks ago on our channel. So subscribe. Maybe you missed that one, so subscribe. And please have a browse of that podcast. It was exactly 2 weeks ago. Alhamdulillah, which would be the 8th of June, I think it was. If you could change one thing about how Muslims approach marriage today, what would it be? And that's a very good question. If you could change one thing or improve one thing or encourage one thing about what Muslims should do when they approach marriage in today's world, where would you think is? I mean, there's a few things, but what
there's
would you?
Quite a few that comes to mind.
What would you suggest?
So from a prophetic point of view, it's when you went into that marriage, go in because you wanted to complete your faith. It was fulfillment of your iman.
Elaborate on that. Fulfill your faith, as in
fulfillment of your iman, being she will be there for you, you will be there for her. You are both on this journey to get close to Allah through marriage. When that becomes your single uniting goal, you will then have a target. This is what we want to achieve.
And I think you're right. I think today's world, we don't have that.
We don't have that because we are
Muslim couples. They get married. I know some, they'll get married. The first thing they do, Hajj together. I think this is tradition in Indonesia. I've heard it from brothers from there that when they get married, one of the first things they do is take their
So the
spouse.
first honeymoon or first
is
holiday is
go
going to be
Yeah.
Hajj or Umrah.
Hajj or Umrah.
Yeah,
They try to
makes
do Hajj
sense.
together, get that fard done
Yeah.
at an early age, but also the bonding that will take place.
Yeah.
Traveling together, worshipping together, pray at home together, right? That's something we should do. Again, did you have that in mind when you got married? Is that something you wanted? Attend Islamic
If the
events
only thing in
together?
your mind was a bedroom partner,
Yeah.
then you've blown it already. You've started on the wrong foot.
Yeah, so lust and romance is the only
Because the
thing
moment
a lot of us
that's
have in
done,
mind.
you've done, tried, tested everything, then what?
Yeah.
Then you're going to look out for haram
Can we
again.
stop saying, I think we should start, instead of saying wife, husband, spouse, we say life partner.
Life partner, yeah.
Life partner, right? This is who your partner is for life.
Your
What do you do
companion,
together?
isn't it?
Your companion, yeah. Your other half. What do you want to do together?
You're on this
What do
journey
you want to achieve
together.
together.
And that journey is ilallah.
And like you mentioned, the 5-10 year planning really helps
Yeah.
to set that. And it must include, like you just said, the Islamic side of things, the religious side of things.
The Hajj or the Umrahs, the children you want to have, how you want to raise them, what do you want them to become. And like say, if you want your child to become an alim, then you start to create that environment in the home.
And you need a team together. So if one parent can't want the other parent, I don't want them to do that much. Being an alim isn't what they're, it could be that they have that issue.
A lot of parents want their children to become a Hafiz.
Yeah.
But the house environment is not facilitating it.
And then
So all of these changes need to come in right from the go, from a lot earlier, before the child is even born.
So on that topic of children, we didn't really talk about children and marriage and obviously divorce now as well, or problems. But sometimes a lot of couples stay together because of the children.
Definitely.
They think that, look, if we separate, then son, daughter, or children in the plural could really be harmed or have a difficult upbringing. Some obviously divorce and they separate and they co-parent, as we could call it, or single parent if that happens. So what were you saying about staying together for the children? Is that good or bad, or what should we think of?
I'm personally pro.
Yeah.
I'm definitely for it, because the absence of either one of the parents leaves a 50% void in their character, in their exposure to what the world out there has to offer.
In their development.
In their maturity, yeah. And in their religion as well.
Yeah.
Because if he's never had the fatherly figure or the motherly figure in his or her life becomes your life is going to be very different, and your experiences to what normal kids are having out there. Those that do have both parents in their lives. But I can understand, and statistically proven, one of the reasons why people are getting divorced is because financial pressures and kids are growing. Now they're disputing over the kids. One wants a child to go in this direction, this career. One wants the other career.
That's causing divorce.
It's causing divorces.
Wow.
Statistically proven as well.
Wow. This UK statistics.
It's UK stats.
Okay.
So we've got to be clear on that way. The UK stats. But of course, they live amongst us as well. They have children and they have...
it's the society, isn't it?
In society,
Children,
they have
their
the same
future.
visions and aspirations for their children.
So children are a huge factor.
It is a huge factor. And
So again, this would be remedied by having these discussions early on in marriage,
very early.
clarifying what you want your children to be, how you want to raise your children,
Even-
homeschooling, normal schooling, private schooling.
Sheikh,
where you
even
want to
having
live
even
with the-
having a child
even having
is something that you need to discuss.
Yeah.
For some couples, having a child too early is problematic. Now, with that comes the family pressures, and then you have the what do you call it? There's a word. Allahu Akbar, I forgot the word. But anyways, you have family peer pressures
Yeah.
and the expectations that you will have a child within the first year.
Yeah.
And if the child is not done, there's something wrong with him or her.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then that becomes a bit of a burden on the mind and
On the mind.
soul, especially of the lady. Usually, she gets the brunt of
Exactly.
it. And even though there's nothing wrong with anybody,
that actually causes breakdowns of
it
marriages.
was a big down the marriage. Yeah, it
That
does, yeah.
you're not the right partner. You don't have the qualities, the motherly quality or the fatherly qualities. So what do you want? You want to split between the marriage.
Allah's denying you a child for whatever reason.
I've even heard, Mom Saab, she's cursed.
Yeah, astaghfirullah.
How is she cursed?
La hawla wa la quwwata.
لله ملك السماوات والأرض يخلق ما يشاء يهب لمن يشاء إناثا ويهب لمن يشاء الذكور أو يزوجهم ذكرانا وإناثا. Allah is the one that creates. لله ملك السماوات
وَيَجْعَلُ مَن
والأرض.
يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا.
And whoever he wants, he'll give no kids to.
Yes.
Either you have all boys or all daughters or a mix, boys and girls.
Oh,
But
but nothing.
or nothing. And the best part of this ayah is Lillahi mulku samawati
It
wal ard.
belongs to Allah. Allah decides.
Everything
Yeah.
belongs to Allah.
The meaning here, which everybody should take home and tell everyone, is Allah has decided that for you out of His wisdom.
Subhanallah.
To Him belong. Some prophets had only girls, some prophets had only boys, some prophets had no children, some had both.
So we're making dua
Or
for 80
prophet is
years.
bad or deficient, or their
Yep.
wife is bad or deficient because they had children, no children. No,
No.
nothing to do with that. It's Allah's wisdom in how He wants
No.
to test you or give you this challenge of parenthood or not in life.
Wasn't the Prophet ﷺ tested in that way as well?
Of course, yes,
The only children he had were from Sayyidah Khadija al-Kubra and one from Maria Qibtiyah.
that's right. Yeah,
The other women, he didn't have children with them.
and he wanted children.
Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, the most beloved one to him, alayhi salatu wasalam, had no children.
No children. Yeah.
So there were
And
challenges.
she felt that, and
Yes.
some of the hadith mention how she
We
really
have
wanted,
that in the
but it
hadith.
wasn't written for them. Not in this life, anyway.
So if the Rasul of Allah, Imamul Anbiya, do you not think he would be making du'as? But everything is in the hands of Allah. When it's the right time, يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. He'll create what he wants when he wants.
So on this topic of children, there's a question really.
So for some, just to finish off,
Yeah,
for
go on.
some, having kids too early is problematic.
Yes.
And for some, having kids late is problematic. It's finding that right balance. When the two of you are ready to have a child, when the two of you can commit to having a child, if both, and I say this quite openly, if both are career driven, they shouldn't be having kids.
Yes. So the question is,
They get married to your craze.
please can you discuss the consequences of a parent deliberately denying children a relationship with the other parent when there are no safeguarding concerns, but there's no issues. It's just out of spite, out of, like, I've got control. I'm not going to give you access to the children. What does this do? How-
That's after divorce, then, isn't
this
it?
is after divorce. It could be during divorce or after divorce.
So that's more of, a child, how to take care of, who will be taking care of the child, isn't
Yeah.
it? So
I mean, let's
think
talk about
these are, I think
what
let's
does Islam say?
let's tackle that later on,
Okay, later on. Okay.
because we need to still get to divorce,
Okay, we get to divorce.
and then after divorce,
we'll come back to that, inshallah.
the
So just
co-parenting
keep
and
that
whatever
in
we're
mind.
going to do.
I will come back to that, inshallah ta'ala.
Inshallah.
But there is another one here. I think we touched on this already, but let's just go to it. Can a marriage survive repeated breaches of trust without becoming emotionally hollow?
No,
It can't. No, it can't. We talked about this, right?
it can't.
If things are happening and
You have
promises
to-
are being broken,
You
then
have to draw a line.
you have to.
Enough is enough.
I mean, usually they say 3 strikes and it out, and I think if it's continuous,
Allah
and I've had many a sister usually say that he said this to me, he broke his promise. He said this to me, he broke. I can't trust him anymore. I know he does it. He says he doesn't do it, but I'm doubtful. When it's like he said, it's become hollow, hasn't it? It's become empty. You've lost the trust. It's no longer there. It's very hard to bring that back. I think trust is one of the huge elements of a marriage. As long as there's trust there, there's hope. If the trust is gone and there's a reason it's gone, not just you being like all dubious and skeptical, then you have a big problem.
Another one of my readings, Sheikh, was that you have midlife marriage crisis. So for many people, earlier in the life, it's all happy, yeah. First few years, everything's flying colors. Then you have a kid, you have 2 kids, let's suppose. Now things start to dip.
Yeah.
This has also been in my read I found. It's called the U-shape marriage. So it
Okay.
starts high, then goes low,
Dips.
then it dips, then it comes high again.
Okay.
So people have those phases in their marriage as well.
That's natural somewhat, isn't it?
Yeah,
you
it
can't
is,
expect
it is.
everything to be perfect
Exactly.
for as long as all the time. There are dips, there are downs.
So, but many times what we have found, again, statistically proven, that the year 5 to 8 of a marriage is the most challenging time of the marriage.
Wow.
If you get through that, which is where normally you've had a child, now it's who's going to take care of a child, who's going to pursue the career, who's going to finance the home, the child, and these things.
So that's the
a
question
child
we've
is
got
actually
here.
growing now. Who's going to do the school runs?
Question we got right here.
Go on.
To jump in, but you can carry on because it's going to answer the question. But just to give you the question as well.
Yep.
We often hear that children are a blessing, but how do couples decide how? So the question is how, when their family is complete, how many children and so on? Is there an Islamic framework for balancing the desire for more children with factors like health and finances and so on?
Health and finances should definitely be huge factors. Like if she can no longer have any more children, she's exhausted physically. Her schedule, or let's say some women are quite active.
Some women have very dangerous pregnancies as well.
Yes, that
So
definitely
be
can
a
happen as well.
challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
or have had complications in
Yeah.
the previous ones that the doctors now advise,
Warning, yeah.
they warn you, don't do it now. Or you either have health complications before marriage as well. As soon as you get married, the doctors will say, look, you have to hold on for certain years until you're fully recovered.
Yeah.
These are,
Have a gap between your...
these are exceptional cases. But what we are seeing again and again is like so some women are really active. They want to have more kids. Some are not so active. So it takes them a lot longer to do the same house chores. They know having another child is only going to slow that down. So the family pressure or the pressure from the husband is such, I can't accommodate any more kids. That has to be taken into consideration. Let's suppose 2 kids, the school runs are becoming too much. How are you going to do the third one?
Yeah, again.
Now the one school is in this direction, one's other direction. The third one, where's that going to go?
9 years of school runs or whatever. Now you have another child, it starts again, doesn't it?
It starts all over again.
Another 9 years, another 10 years,
But-
and then another child resets. So
But for some people,
years are
Shaykh,
doing this?
it's actually a blessing.
Yeah.
Some see it as a blessing. Now, otherwise, this sister doesn't have much to do in the day. So she wants to keep herself busy. How does she keep herself busy? Do the house chores, do the school pickup and drops, do all that. While she's at work in the office, doing whatever he's doing, the business, running the business, she's running the house affairs, doing all the school runs and stuff.
Investing in her future children, yeah.
Technically, Islamically, she doesn't need to do any of it. He has to provide.
Yeah, it's his responsibility.
It's his responsibility.
It is, yeah.
But if a sister wants to remain active, otherwise she's at home doing nothing. I mean, how many times is she going to clean the bedding or do the clothing or mop the floors? There comes a point, I'm bored now, keep me busy. So now probably the time you need to have a child. And if one child is doing well, a second child, then the schooling starts, then they start to grow, then, picking careers and making those decisions for them. All of that is beautiful because the Prophet ﷺ said what? Tazawwajul walud al-wadud. Marry those women who can give you more children and be more loving to you as well. That's advice, isn't it? Because on the Day of Judgment, he will boast over the numbers of his ummah. But of course, in this framework and where we live now and we have many more professionals amongst the Muslim community, you have to find that right balance. And it's quite subjective. So I think it would be unfair of us to give advice which is objective. No, that everybody must turn this way or everybody must do this. You should manage your own situation and see what works best for you and for this healthy relationship to continue growing.
Okay, so it says here, when considering marriage counseling,
Ji.
would you recommend seeking a Muslim therapist, or is it fine to see someone who isn't Muslim? Are there any Muslim counselor services you'd recommend?
I know a few imams that are qualified counselors. They actually have level 4 certification, which is above and beyond what our community needs.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. So reach out to those imams. So they will not only give you contemporary counseling, but they'll give you Islamic counseling as well.
Yeah, because
it's a 2-in-1
foundation of both.
And where the Western or the contemporary counseling will only be about solving matters, or may even go in the other direction, counsel you to walk away. At least that imam could advise you in saving your marriage in a way that if you were to part ways, you've still got the window open of how you can come back into that marriage. I think this is where we should get on to divorce itself.
Yeah, so that was going to moving on to divorce, and so like we said earlier, is there a time where enough is enough? Yes, there's a time. Divorces are happening every day. Stats show they're on the increase.
Oh, very much.
It's difficult. We want to end it. You know what? Islam says you can end it. Islam, does allow for this bond of marriage to be terminated, to be ended. But before we talk about why you should do it, when it happens, we need to talk about how, because people don't know how to divorce.
Oh, no.
Men. Because men, so first of all, men divorce, right? The male, that's the first ruling we'll clarify. The right of divorce is unilateral, as they say, one-sided, which is for the male. So that brings up another question. What if the female wants out of the marriage? How does she do that? I think that's a fair question.
Okay, so let's answer that one first.
Let's go to that. Go on.
So if a woman wants out of the marriage, she can apply to a Sharia council. And again, it has to be a proper Sharia council. It can't be one of these wishy-washy fake guys that all they want to do is you go to them, you put your case packs down, they sign it off, make a payment of £500. Within 3 weeks, you're gone. 4 weeks.
It's money making, isn't it?
It's all about money making. Find a proper, genuine Sharia counsel.
Which would actually investigate the whole situation.
Exactly.
Which would give their time and speak to people, which they can then take a fee
They will
for and
always
so on.
start with counseling.
Yeah. And they may not give you what you want, which is maybe the divorce.
Yep.
They may
Yep.
do
Yep.
by the end of it, but they will take it as a seriously, genuine, and they'll be
But for the sisters,
unbiased.
at the same time, don't go fatwa shopping.
Yeah.
I've gone to one Sharia council, they've not given me divorce, let's try another one. Pay him and get it done. So if a woman does want divorce, the two ways out, one is through fasq of nikah,
Yeah.
one is khula.
Yeah, okay.
Khula is basically you paying your money back.
Yeah,
It's almost like paying your way out.
dowry back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually it's
Your
dowry.
mahar.
Yeah, mahar.
The bridal gift that was given to you upon your marriage, let's suppose it was £5,000, and you agree. We have cases in hadith where Nabi Alayhi Salatu Wasalam said, okay, give back that garden that you were given as a mahar,
Mahar.
and
She
then
gave it
that,
back,
she gave it back,
and she got
she
divorced.
walked away out of the marriage.
Free.
That's one way. Second way is, and this is generally, and this is a tough one, but if there is definitely some domestic abuse involved, or abuse that is unforgivable, but you have to prove, you got to have a strong case in the Sharia councils to say, look, upon these grounds, I believe there should be a dissolvement of this marriage.
Yeah.
That's called fasq.
Fasq.
Many women that ring, Imam Sahib, I want the khula. I said, no, you don't. You don't even know what a khula is. If I told you you got to give all that gold back, would you do it? Answer, no, Imam Sahib. That's what I need there now.
Yeah.
Then what do you want? You want a dissolvement of marriage, which is fasq. But for that, you must have a strong case. You can't be under Western influence. Men as well, I'm bored. It's been 10 years. Nothing's happening in this marriage for the last few years. So you know what? I just want out. This is happening. Women have come to me. She could not prove to me a strong case. And I'm not a Sharia counsel. I'm just a local imam doing whatever I can to help the community. Imam said, I just want to leave. Why? Just. Uddain. Like, what do you mean Uddain? This isn't the Western culture. You dump one and you get another boyfriend and have an affair for a few months and then dump in and move on. Islam is very serious.
Commitment, isn't it?
It's commitment to your. And like we
You
said,
give your word. and
you've
it
given
wasn't a
your word.
temporary thing.
It's your faith on the line. The way it made your faith 50%, are you not seeing that 50% is parting away, breaking away? So you should try very quickly to fill that 50% void.
What are we looking at here?
No, really.
Is okay.
Yeah.
So the question I was going to get on to is, okay, so it has come to the decision of, so the lady's side, you go to the Sharia Council, fasakh, they will dissolve it, they will study, investigate, and if they give it, they give it.
And if they're not investigating, that means they're fake.
They're just doing paperwork, just pretending, whatever, right? It's not real. Or the other one is you can actually just agree with your current husband to do the khula, which is like giving the dowry back or a payment in return for a divorce, and then you're free, and you can get family involved to have that conversation and so on. We won't go into the exact.
But that
detail.
generally doesn't happen.
That's rare. Khula
You
is
will
rare.
have to get a third person, a Sharia board involved.
Yeah,
who will then play
the
that
Sharia
role?
board could advise the khula as well.
Yeah.
They may not do the fasakh. They say no, khula should be done if you want to have the marriage,
But-
and you want to put that forward.
Sheikh, in my experience, it's always fasakh. Women are not going to want to pay a penny.
It's not, of course, I'm not in that position
So,
to decide. I'm not going to
let's
money
be
anyway.
straight.
But yeah, if
We
people
know
got money, it's hard to let go of money. Yeah.
My experience tells me all they want is out. They don't want to pay a penny.
Yeah, okay. So it'd be.
So in that case, it's a fasakh, but you have to have a strong case for why you want the separation.
so that they give the fasakh on paper.
Because then
on
what
legally,
women do is when that fasakh is not given, they'll go to another Sharia board, drop the money,
get it done. Yeah,
job done.
Okay, so now let's go to the male side. Like we said, the male has a very, I say easy, but let's say
But it's a huge responsibility.
yeah, I was going to say that it's a big thing, not just a flippant thing, right? It's not that easy. Ability to divorce, which can be done on anger, which can be done on very, sad terms, very long deliberations. So how, whatever the situation, should a male, if he is going to divorce, we need to teach this. We need to have this conversation.
It has to be taught as a course.
Yeah.
There are multiple ways to give a divorce. Each one will result in a different way. So depending on the outcome you want from that divorce, you need to be prepared to spell out those words in that heated moment with your consciousness present. Actually, I had a case. He emailed the divorce
To his spouse.
That's one. Then he printed it went over, delivered it in her hand, a second, and then whilst he was walking out, he said it to her as well. This happened last Ramadan.
Yeah.
During Ramadan, this happened.
MashaAllah.
So he's given all 3 divorces in one day, in 3 different ways. So divorce can be done by email, by WhatsApp message.
Messages.
It can be done in physically or in person. You verbally say it.
Yeah.
Islamically, the way Islam wants to teach talaq is that you only ever, and I say ever, need to give one single, explicit, direct divorce.
So some people think the males think that you don't divorce until you say it 3 times. Is that true or false?
That's the biggest misconception in the ummah. And again, people will go fatwa shopping.
Yeah.
They'll come to me.
Here's the big thing. If you say it 3 times, it's actually
3. It's not 1.
Yeah.
Again, if anybody wants to make a short clip out of this one,
Yeah.
and blast it out there on social media, do it.
3 is
When you
3,
say
not
3, it means 3,
We're not
not
Trinitarians.
1. There's no such thing in
Tawheed.
Islam, Sheikh. This is what makes me laugh. As 9 divorces. Have you ever heard of 9 talaqs?
No.
Like 3,
Yeah,
and then a
do that,
3,
yeah.
then another 3.
That's when it's over.
That's when it's over.
Right.
La hawla wa quwwata illa billah.
Let's go
It's
back to this
always
one. So when you give 1, what does that mean? Explain that.
so 1 if you've said it explicitly.
So if somebody says to his spouse, you are divorced, right? So he's issued 1 divorce. What's the result of that? What's the outcome of
So
that?
within 3 menstrual cycles,
Yeah.
you have the right to withdraw your words.
So the husband has
husband
the right
has a wife.
who gave the divorce to withdraw it.
To withdraw.
If he's doing it in this way, you are divorced.
If he said the divorce word.
Yeah, that's right.
Again, from our viewers, if you've not said divorce, you've said get lost, get out of my life,
That could be different.
leave, then that's a different pathway in
Yeah,
Sharia.
Leave that one for now.
That's going to get a bit complicated.
You need to go to a mufti if you've done that
Okay. But what you want to do is only ever say the divorce word once.
once. You've said
And
it
you
once.
must address it.
Yeah, to the person.
So if somebody just sits here and says, talaq, talaq, talaq.
I want to give it this thing, but you're not actually addressed it to the
There's no
person.
talaq.
Yeah, there's no talaq.
You have to address the talaq. It's like saying somebody sits in an auction and he says, buy. Like I buy. But what are you buying?
Yeah.
We don't know. So you have to say address it that I divorce you. When that happens, a single divorce takes place. The man who pronounced the divorce has 3 menstrual cycles of his wife's periods to withdraw those words. Now either he withdraws
Yep.
or
Doesn't.
he does something to show affection.
Or he can withdraw verbally,
Verbally even
or he can do it
something.
physically.
So that can only happen, and here's another social wrong. That when a divorce generally is given, in all my experience that I've seen, she goes to her family's
Separate,
home.
yeah.
The separation happens, and then she says, can you please send it? Or say it over the phone. And when that happens, she's not going to come back. The way Sharia wants it, Allah says, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ.
Yeah.
Even after giving them the divorce,
That one divorce.
keep him in the house. He must spend that iddah period, the counting period, in the family home, in her husband's home, so that he feels affection towards her. And Sharia says, Hadith describes in fact, she should dress up every evening like a bride. So that same woman who he hated for the last year whilst it was always on a decline, the marriage was not working, now he said, I give you a single divorce. She's now suddenly started dressing like a bride and does all those things. So, let's say a month goes by, and he's seeing that same woman in the house who's dressing immaculately every evening. He now appeals towards her. Plus, he's not been intimate
Somebody
for a
might
while.
say you've divorced her. How can you be together?
Sharia says, وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ
Yeah,
بِالْمَعْرُوفِ.
because during
Quran
this
says it.
iddah period, you still have the rules of husband and wife,
Husband and
even
wife.
though you're going through a divorce.
He needs to provide financially.
Yeah,
He still
exactly.
needs to feed. He still needs to give a home,
feed her,
everything.
clothe her, everything.
But the social wrong is, Sheikh, that they go to their mother's home. I'm going to sit my iddah there. So
They
you
could-
never get a
They can
chance
be
to
alone
meet each
together,
other.
etc. And that may lead to them.
Let's suppose they were just sat down
Yeah.
and he got a bit touchy. Sharia will say
You're back
that's
together.
him doing ruju.
You're doing it back
You
together.
know, sometimes, Sheikh, men, because they're men,
Yeah.
they can't say sorry. They're not willing to say, look, okay, I'm
Ego.
sorry. The ego's so big.
Yeah.
I will take my words back. He'll rather shoot himself than say those words. But Sharia says, okay, if you can't say those words, let's say you're sat on a couch, you're watching a movie or something, or just watching news, and then you start to cuddle or whatever, moving onwards,
That's fine.
that is enough to show that he wants you back in his life.
Yeah.
So that's ruju. So you've
But
used,
what happens with ruju? The divorce is cancelled now.
not the divorce is not
So
cancelled.
what happens to
No.
explain that?
So they've lost one lifeline.
So if the divorce counts, but
It counts.
they're back as husband and wife.
They're back husband and wife,
That
but,
period stops here or carries on?
it does stops there and then.
It does stop.
So
there.
the day they had that little cuddle,
Yep.
the iddah is ended.
Yep.
The husband and wife again, they do not need
but
to
he's lost
go.
a bullet from the gun, yeah? He's shot
One lifeline gone.
One lifeline gone.
You know, I
Two left.
commonly used to give example. You know, we used to play Tekken on the PS3.
Yeah, Tekken. Yeah, I remember Tekken.
So you have 3 lives, yeah?
These guys might not, but we do.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know Tekken,
So
yeah.
one lifeline gone.
Yeah.
Now your husband wife again.
Yeah.
You live together. Let's say many years later, again, you had a major dispute. In that frustration, you said, I divorce you. Again, for the viewers, you only say it once.
Yeah.
Whenever you say it, you say it
Whenever
once.
a male does a divorce, it's to be said once on that occasion.
One word of talaq is sufficient. Now
Not that you should, but we're on the situation where you're doing
you've used 2 lifelines now.
Yeah.
Now you're on your last leg. Now this is what Quran says, at-talaqu marratan.
Marratan, twice.
The talaq is only twice. But then in the following ayah, Allah says, فَإِن طَلَّقَهَا. Now if he divorces her for the third time, فَلَا تَحِلُّ لَهُ حَتَّى تَنْكِحَ زَوْجًا غَيْرَهُ.
Yeah.
She is not halal for him until she marries somebody else.
Somebody else. And of course, comes out of that marriage.
Comes out of that marriage, must go into a separate marriage, live many years, a natural marriage.
Yeah, normal marriage.
And then if she gets divorced,
Widowed.
something happens, and he's still wanting to marry her again many years
He has
later,
access now.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But
That's not the norm though.
that's not the norm. That is not the norm. But unfortunately, again, أَبْغَضُ الْحَلَالِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ, the most damned thing in the Sharia, which is halal, is talaq.
So there's a couple
But we want
more.
to try everything possible to dodge and do everything to never be in that situation. This is where Sheikh, can I also mention for the viewers, why guys need to be more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
I've had cases where Imam Saab, she kept asking. She carried on going. So I said, "Theek hai, you're challenging my manhood." So some women will go to that stupidity to say, if you're a man, divorce me then. He's like, "Theek hai, I am the man.
Yeah.
You're divorced."
That's it. It counts.
And it counts. But in that situation, unfortunately, if you said it 3,
It's all over.
you've absolutely blown it. You cannot be husband and wife again.
Yeah.
So what happens with the kids?
That's the big
I've
one.
had so many. So, Imam Sahib, Sheikh, you're getting me triggered now.
Yeah, so sorry, let's go through some comments that
I've
we're
got
getting.
too
Thank
many
you for your
stories.
comments, everyone. Appreciate your contributing today and viewing in. So there's a question. I'll read it anyway because I will like to read the comments. It says, not sure if this has been answered before, but is it true if someone proposes and you reject, then they marry someone else, they were never meant for you, even if you feel regret afterwards?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they were meant for you. They didn't get married.
Keep trying.
But regret is always a normal part of decisions or rejections. You have regret is fine. In the Sharia, what is the ruling of sharing of assets following divorce? I think it's a good question. What are the consequences in Islam where a former spouse takes matters through the UK courts and takes a share of the wealth?
It's haram. That wealth is haram. But my advice to the sisters out there and brothers who want to keep it halal, and this scenario I kind of hinted to last week,
Yeah.
where you have both professionals, they're working, they make a lot of money,
Put in the contract.
prenuptial agreement.
Yeah, put in the contract.
If you've agreed to it before marriage, that when we part ways, this is how we will part.
Yeah. 60,
Then it's
40,
halal.
70, 30, 50,
Whatever it
50,
is.
Whatever it is.
But what you can't do is there's no agreement. This poor man has worked all his life. Let's say a taxi driver. He's worked several years, made the family home, everything. And now she, when things don't work out, goes to the family courts, wants a separation, and is asking for 50% of the assets.
Really, the counter argument is she did invest. She looked after the house, the children, made him food and drink, and
She gave him
life
children,
comfortable
did
for
everything
him,
as well.
Looked after that house for him. Now she gets nothing, and he gets it all. How does that work?
So, in the current circumstances, I think this is where the counseling comes in, isn't it? I've helped counsel this couple who did not have a prenuptial agreement, but then within our counseling sessions, we agreed of how we will actually walk away.
Yeah.
Then the divorce was pronounced as well.
And then you can agree. So you can, even if you don't have a prenup, can agree a
Later on
financial
as well, of
package
course.
on departure. You can say, look, I'll give you this. We'll do
Or
this,
even
we'll do that.
after marriage, I will continue to support
Exactly,
the kids,
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I
I
will
mean,
like monthly finances or whatever agreement they have. You can take this property of mine, I'll stay in the other one.
Yeah.
Whatever agreement you
But
come to.
To be on the safe side, you should have this planned. Not
Definitely
in a sense
planned.
like in a negative way, like, oh, it might end, but to protect yourself. Prevention before cure, as you said at the beginning of
Exactly,
today.
exactly.
And parents, fathers in particular, should be aware of this and should speak up for this, because it's not an easy conversation either.
But at the same time, Sheikh, in my study of case law as well, women don't always get 50%.
Yeah.
So that's again a common wrong knowledge out there. That if I get the divorce, I'll get 50% of everything he has.
Yeah.
The
No,
courts are not stupid.
I
They're not
think
dumb.
They look at things, how much you contribute to the marriage.
Yeah.
How much of his income do you actually deserve if you supported him? Did he make
Yeah.
it because of you or in spite of you, right? Who knows why his income is.
But the way Sharia wants to teach it is look straight. Now, one of the reasons why, again, coming back to that single parenting concept and it being one of the social wrongs that are taking place, is because sisters would believe in this case that if I get 50%, I don't actually need him anymore.
Yeah, and I got the money now.
Now I've got the money.
Finances, yeah.
That money is what's really troubling people. And one of the reasons why so many divorces are taking place, because he's so loaded, if I get a divorce, I'll financially be stable. I'll be okay.
So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
That's what it is. Please, could you discuss consequence of resident parents, mostly women, i.e. mothers-in-law, make false allegations under oath on Quran in UK family courts to deny child contact or the parents,
Child custody, basically,
where
yeah.
there are no safeguarding concerns. This was similar to the previous one.
It's really
where,
sad.
You know,
Honestly, really sad.
people put barriers in, usually the father visiting the children, and sometimes lie in court.
And they put the hand on the Quran, yeah.
And that's
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا
that's,
قولا سديدا.
a major sin, huge sin, isn't it? Like
Huge,
lying on the
huge, huge
Quran,
sin.
like it's a book
Ya
of
Rab.
truth, and you touching it to lies. It's very damning, to be honest.
But this is where we advised last week as well that if you are finding that the relation with the in-laws is becoming toxic, then you need to step up and walk away in order to save your marriage.
Yeah.
If you can't, just to please your parents, that you're going to ruin your own marriage, and if you've had a child or two and jeopardize their future, I think this is not fair on the kids. It's not fair on your marriage as well.
So we've got a few comments here from Omar, Arizona. Allah bless you. Thank you for joining us. We can do better. Marriage is not only a private relationship in Islam, it's a serious commitment supported by family and community, witnesses, counsel, mercy, and justice. But we have failed. When marriage breaks, we blame individuals while ignoring that one of the pillars meant to support them has already been knocked down. True. A society that honors marriage must also build the systems to honor the marriage. And true. And as Muslims, I agree with the brother that we have lacked that investment into our education, support networks for marital issues. A society that honors I'll end with a question. When was the last time you heard a mosque celebrate a marriage that brought years of happiness and stability to a family? Yeah, we don't celebrate those 20, 30, 40 marriages. I mean, families may do, but we don't make them
This
a
is
public
where they
thing.
have their anniversaries, isn't
We
it?
hear all the time about broken marriages. The thing I'll say about that, and I learned this from a teacher, how many planes land safely a day, Maulana?
Don't know.
Thousands, right?
Yeah.
Which
The
one?
majority
Which one do you hear about when it doesn't land?
The one that's crashed.
The one that's crashed. That's nature. I'm not trying to defend that, what the brother's saying, but that's nature of humans.
It is.
When something bad happens, you hear about it, but you won't hear about all the good things that have happened, and that's the problem.
Exactly.
Because you need to hear
It
about
is,
the good
it
things
is.
sometimes. So it's a valid point, but I'm just saying the reason is we don't mention the good. We just get so accustomed to it.
I
We
mean,
think
all
it's
those
the norm.
anniversaries and successful marriages that we are hearing of, those kids, I mean, a majority of our parents that we know as well, successful marriages.
You know what it is? I
Doing
agree
really
with the
well.
brother, because I have heard of these marriages, or some of them, every now and then. And it's inspiring. You think they've
Very
been married
inspiring.
for 57 years, it's coming up to 60th anniversary. Like, wow.
So
People haven't been alive for 60 years. This child's 10 years, that's 20, that's 40. You've been married for 60
Subhanallah,
years. Like, and it does inspire you to think, right, I
can do
want
it
a
as well.
marriage like that.
I can do it as well.
We need to have it if Allah gives us life long enough.
But in order to do that, Sheikh, like you said, you have to invest, you have to learn.
But we should celebrate that. The
Yeah.
good point. It's a good point. I know that has a positive effect on you. It's definitely a good point.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
We rarely celebrate successful ones. Maybe they're part of the problem. Yeah, agreed with you, brother. Agreed with you. Why do some people claim Islamic law only when it benefits them? But a wife will want your property as per English law. In Islamic law, it is your property, right? Yeah, we've discussed that just now. It is your property. But there is an argument that people putting forward that she has a right to something because she helped you build that wealth.
Yep.
Now, legally speaking, that it's on your name and that's on her name and that's your wealth. But on a moral level, yes, she should be looked after more than just we're separating, you go your way, I go my way. You take all the money, she gets nothing. Legally is fine. But like we said, there should be counseling,
Yeah.
there should be advice given, and the husband should be more than I don't know, hard-hearted, brutal person.
But, Sheikh, by the time you got to that stage, things are so toxic.
They are indeed, yeah.
It's like take whatever you can out of this marriage.
Both ways, it works both ways, doesn't it?
And it's really ugly.
They'll
really ugly.
do what they can to get what they want, and
Yep.
they'll do what they can, women and men, to do what they can.
But if you come, like, all of this comes back to, if you start to live the Sharia, if we start to live the Sunnah ways,
yeah.
we wouldn't have any of these problems, isn't it? And the solutions now, when you are conflicting on how you walk away, you part ways the way the Sharia described it. And Sharia isn't taking away anyone's right. I think I disagree with that comment as well.
Of which one, sorry?
The one that why is it Sharia benefits one and not the other? Sharia is there to support everyone. Sharia is not just Inna Allah la yadhlimu misqala dharra.
The Sharia, we've got to explain there's two aspects to Sharia.
Yeah.
One is a purely legal aspect.
Yeah.
And then there's the moral, so it's like fard, wajib, sunnah, mustahab.
Ji.
People just want the fard, it benefits them, but they don't want to do the sunnahs and wajibat and the recommendations.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't benefit them. It is too hard, or it's, whatever. No. Yes, there's a basic legal, it's like saying, you got to provide food and drink for your family and shelter. That's it. I don't need to give them anything else. All my money, right? Well, no. Spend on them, give them gifts. Be nice to them, get flowers. But no, I'm not required to do that, am I? Because it doesn't say that. Like that's how people use the law, unfortunately. So we need to understand the Sharia doesn't mean just the basics of the law or the foundations. There's a lot more to it that people aren't applying, which is Sharia, which is Islam. And people, it's like whenever whatever fits your kind of fancy. We've got a lot of comments coming in, but we're also running out of time, Maulana.
Sheikh, it's Maghrib time now.
It's Maghrib time. So I'm just going to go through comments. You can decide what to answer and then we'll wrap it up. But you know what? We maybe need to do another one talking more about the divorce itself, because we didn't really get into the topic of divorce.
And I think even the other types of divorces, so if somebody says get lost, get out of my life
we
or
need
something.
to look at that and give some advice.
That needs to be mentioned as well.
Yeah, we need to look at that. It's important because people don't realize they may have divorced and they don't know.
Things like divorce under influence of substances.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Is
it a valid divorce or not?
Yeah, well, it counts, yeah.
So many questions that people will have and they need to be answered.
They need to be answered, yeah.
Inshallah,
so
another
let's go
day.
through the comments, inshallah ta'ala. So, is it better to remain married in conflict for the kids, to remain for the kids?
We've answered that.
Having sabr, or more healthy to separate? We have answered that.
So if you go back to the, just rewind backwards, you'll get that.
8 minutes back, yeah. Thank you. Last week, the teachers addressed how women require emotional support that to maintain a healthy relationship, couples should go on dates, etc. However, a lot of men respond to this by saying, but our mothers didn't need this. They didn't go on dates, need flowers, etc. and refer to our generation as materialistic for desiring such things. Please, could the teachers address this?
They were from a different generation, from a different society. The societal norms there were that they didn't need this stuff. But they did do it. They didn't call it a date. They didn't use flowers. They probably went out to the local shop, had a laddu shadu, yeah, and that was their date. Nowadays, our expectation of a date is go out, nice fancy restaurant, have some flowers. This is why the Western culture introduced the Mother's Day, the Father's Day, Valentine's Day, and all these things.
They need a reason to start doing things.
Yeah, just to reignite that love, wherever it was lost and drifted away, to bring you together. This is why there is a generational gap. Don't compare your parents to yourself.
Yeah.
Just the way you won't compare yourself to your children.
Okay, so it is said that to counter harsh treatment, it takes 5 good actions. Who, in your experience, can be more toxic? The wife or husband? Why do they weaponize the house, children, etc.? It's a big one, that.
We need more time on that.
We need more time on that. I think it's not one or the other, but depends on the situation, I suppose. Imagine someone who celebrates people who can be role models, people who can be put in a position to help people financially, give them hope and dreams, and keep them busy with something other than. And then it stops there. So I don't know what responsibilities remain for the husband and wife if divorced and if children are involved. How should finances be agreed if the wife has also contributed to the home purchase and maintenance?
We need another podcast.
Yeah, so that's a big one. Yeah, post-divorce kind of finances.
Because child custody is a big one.
Yeah, it needs a podcast on that. Right?
So we need to teach what Islam says and what the Western, so British law under child custody, CAFCAS, and all these organizations that get involved. People need to know how that works.
They do, yeah. So there's another one related to that. It says, please can you discuss about nafaqa, expenditure, and support in respect of divorce. So we did touch on that. Whilst the divorce is taking place, the husband is required to provide financially for the wife, the home, the shelter, etc. But once the divorce is complete, he no longer has any financial responsibilities.
Sharan doesn't, but morally, ethically, he should.
He should give her something more at the end of the marriage. And of course, with children, we said we'll need to look in that in a further podcast, inshallah. Emotional intelligence, unfortunately, is lacking due to how males are raised in some cultures. And the impact on marriages is huge. We touched on this. It would be good to have some courses on this, inshallah. I agree. Inshallah. I agree with this comment.
But we touched upon it in the last podcast.
We did, yeah, but I think it's huge. I think, sadly, I do agree. I do agree that the males, suffer more.
It does. It is, but it's not something that you just...
Responsibilities.
It's not something you can just sit on a course and learn it.
I know it's not. It's a lifetime thing, isn't it? It's reality.
You have to see it in practice.
You have to, yeah. It comes back to parenting. Tarbiyah, like
you've got to be there.
It's got to, and I think the brother Omar who mentioned this as well, and we do talk about this parenting wise, it takes a community to raise children as well.
Of course.
It's not just the two parents. How many of us rely on grandparents, siblings, uncles and aunties of the children, neighbors, pick up, drop off, take them, this, we want to go on that date, who's going to have the kids, right? So on. So we need to support each other. So if we see a young man needing support, and I say young man because that's where, a lot of the, problems are. Women have and girls have a lot of issues as well. They both require attention. I don't like this competition, when one is more than the other, this, that, the other. Everyone's different. Yes, males have more problems in certain ways than females and so on. But we need to be supportive of everybody and find the solution. So I agree with the comment, like I said, we do need to have more for the young men, because I do feel that will improve our community relationships. The parenting will improve of, boys and girls. The spouse relationship will improve. I think that impacts a lot, inshallah ta'ala. Maulana, some final comments from you as we wrap up, because Maghrib time is in. We've had a lot of contribution from the viewers today, so I want to thank you first and foremost. So thank you to you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as we've always told you to do so. But yeah, Maulana, please do give us some parting advice on marital conflict, on divorce, on this issue.
So you should genuinely want sulh. You should genuinely want to unite, put your past behind, and give the other person an opportunity. So based on my yesterday's experience with that counseling session I did, it was all about both of them to committing to forgive each other and give each other another chance. The door of Tawbah is always open. Lives do change. People do change. Allow that person to be on that change. If you shut that door, you never know. He may have already been on that journey where he was internally changing, making that islah. But you shut the door on him. Don't do that.
Thank you, Maulana. Thank you to everybody for joining us on a very productive, I hope, podcast and beneficial for our viewers and listeners. Share this with others. Tune into our future podcasts here at Guidance Cast on Monday evenings live, but you can always catch up on the YouTube channel, inshallah. Thank you to our team in the background. Thank you for all of you for your support. Take care. From myself, Maulana, thank you for being on with us here
Allah
and participating,
Allah bless all the
contributing.
Team.
I think there's been a lot of good advice, support, hopefully, benefit that we can all take, myself included. I'm not referring to just others. We can all learn. Thank you all. Jazakallah khair. Take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.